under the quiet moon, where the wind carries whispers of forgotten lands. Welcome to Echoes of the East. Tonight, let an ancient tale guide your heart and calm your mind. Beneath the silver glow of the Javanese moon, there stands a temple complex that seems to breathe with the pulse of forgotten centuries. This is Prambanan, a crown of stone rising from the fertile plains of central Java. To walk near it at dusk is to hear the faint echo of gam, as if invisible hands were striking the keys and drums of another time. The people of long ago said the stones themselves remember, and if you sit quietly listening, you might hear their voices. They tell of gods and battles, of a love too strong to be contained, and of a curse carved deep into the earth. Once, long ago, there lived a king named Prabu Boko, ruler of a great land. He was powerful but also feared, for his might was unmatched. His daughter, Roro, was known far and wide for her beauty, her grace, and her sharpness of mind. Suitors came from distant lands, but none were worthy in her eyes, until one man arrived, a warrior whose name was whispered like fire. Bandung Bondowoso. His power was not of mortals. He was said to wield spirits, his voice commanding unseen forces. And with this strength, he sought Roro Jonggrang's hand. But love, as you will hear, is never simple. Bandung Bondowoso's arrival shook the kingdom. His army of spirits built walls overnight, raised palaces as if they were children stacking stones. No human army could stand against him, and when he stood before Prabu, his demand was clear. He wished to wed Roro Jonggrang. The king knew he could not refuse such a man. His daughter was summoned, her eyes like stars, her voice calm, even in the presence of this formidable warrior. Bandung spoke of devotion, of power shared, of a future where she would be his queen. But Roro Jonggrang's heart was cold. She could not love a man who had slain her father in battle. For yes, it was Bandung who brought the end of Prabu Boko, claiming his throne not by diplomacy but by strength. Still, she was clever. Instead of refusing outright, she set a condition, a task so impossible it might buy her freedom. "Build me 1,000 temples," she said, her voice soft but edged with steel. "Build them in a single night before the first rooster crows. Do this, and I will be yours." Bandung Bondowoso's smile was slow, his eyes gleaming like fire. For a man who commanded spirits, such a task was not impossible at all. As darkness fell, the earth trembled. Spirits rose from the ground, whispering like wind, carrying stones as large as houses. They worked without rest, stacking, carving, shaping. One by one, the temples appeared, each crowned with intricate reliefs, each alive with the energy of creation. Roro Jonggrang watched with growing dread. The impossible was becoming possible. By midnight, hundreds of temples stood tall, their spires reaching for the heavens. By the final hours before dawn, only one temple remained unfinished. Fear twisted in her chest. She knew that if Bandung succeeded, her fate was sealed. So she devised a plan born of desperation. She gathered the women of the palace, instructed them to pound rice, to light torches, to make the sounds of morning. Together, they mimicked the signs of dawn. The spirits trembled, confused. The roosters crowed. Bandung looked to the horizon, believing the sun was rising. At that moment, the spirits vanished, retreating to the shadows from which they came. Only 999th temples stood complete. The task had failed, not by fate, but by trickery. Roro Jonggrang's relief was short. Bandung Bondowoso discovered the deception, his fury burning hotter than fire. Yet within his rage was a wound deeper still, for he had truly loved her in his own way. "You have mocked my devotion," he said, his voice echoing like thunder among the temples. "If I cannot have your heart, then you will remain with me forever, as stone among these stones." With a curse, he struck her. Her breath caught, her skin hardened, her eyes froze wide in terror. Before the palace and the unfinished temple, Roro Jonggrang turned to stone, a statue of surpassing beauty, forever gazing toward the 1,000 temples she had demanded. To this day, it is said her figure remains part of the great Prambanan complex, a silent reminder of love twisted into vengeance. Centuries passed. The temples of Prambanan fell to ruin under the weight of earthquakes and neglect. Yet travelers who wandered among the stones swore they could hear whispers. Some claimed to see a woman's figure in moonlight, walking between the temples, her face etched with sorrow. Others said the spirits of Bandung's army still roam the fields, searching endlessly for their lost master's command. The people tell the story as both a warning and a comfort. Love can inspire greatness, but it can also destroy kingdoms. Beauty can be a blessing, but it may also become a curse. And so Prambanan stands, not just as stone, but as memory. Every relief carved into its walls tells a story of gods and battles, of Rama and Sita, of demons and heroes. But within it all is the deeper whisper, the legend of 1,000 temples and a woman who refused to bend. Tonight, as the moonlight touches the spires of Prambanan, you might imagine the voices of long ago, the clashing of armies, the chanting of spirits, the soft laugh of Roro Jonggrang as she planned her trick. But let it not disturb your rest. Instead, let it remind you of the timeless truth that even in loss, there is beauty. Even in curses, there are stories that outlast time itself. So close your eyes, let the quiet moon guide you. The stones will stand, the whispers will linger, and your dreams will carry you gently as the ancient temples keep their watch. Good night from the heart of Java.